had the absolute privilege of being invited to a previous screening of the film Devotion. This is a film that is released theatrically November 23rd, which happens to be next week, according to this review. And having seen that film with a few selected people invited from various legions across the Toronto area, including some of my colleagues at the Legion Experience Museum, we went to see this film, and the film really impacted me positively. The film is the true story about fighter pilots Jesse Brown and Tom Handner, who became the US Navy's most celebrated wingmen during the Korean War. The Korean War happened in 1950-51, so after the Second World War. It was a tragic war, as all wars are, but one thing that really is strong in this film is the camaraderie that these young men demonstrated to themselves and to their country in order to get through these horrible times of conflict. What really struck me was the multi-meaning of the title Devotion. There are layers in this film. There is a very strong bond between pilot Jesse and his wife and his little daughter, a devotion that transcends his obligatory distance from them to go and serve for the country. There is a undeniable devotion between his superior Tom, who stands by him right until the last minute in conflict times. There's obviously devotion that all of the fighter pilots demonstrate to their country. There are devotions on multiple levels. It is a war film. It's a war film from the Korean War, and it's based on a true story. And I love the fact that Jesse was, at his time, the only black fighter. And he suffered many stigmas. And one of the main success elements of the story is how he remained resilient through pathetic bullying and tremendous stigmas to remain strong and be himself. And whatever happens in the film demonstrates his incredible strength, inner strength, and that devotion again to everyone who was on his side, from his family to his colleagues and his country. One of the things that really strikes me is that when people think about a war film, they think about lots of action, violence, and conflict. This film is about camaraderie first and foremost. It's about these young fighter pilots who go training, who have bonds with each other. You get separated into different divisions, but yet these bonds were still strong. The film is 2 hours 20 minutes, and the vast majority of this covers the relationships, the bonds, the strengths in their personalities, and then a bit of their serving time. But it is not really a film that prioritizes and focuses on the gore and the blood and the violence, and that's something that I really, really respect. It is a film that I recommend watching in a cinema on a big screen. We follow these fighter pilots in their cockpits, in their aeroplanes, occasionally performing acrobatics. Yes, there are plenty of bullets being sprayed from different sides, but that doesn't get in the way of the fact that it is not a film about gore and violence. It's a film about characters, it's about humans, it's about resilience, it's about people staying loyal to themselves and to their mission. And it's a film about them succeeding in many ways in all these facets. So it's really a film that it's a journey, and it's an experience for people, especially if some of the viewers have not been to many screenings since COVID times. So I do highly recommend it as a really commendable film. It is obviously based on true facts. I think the filmmakers have paid very honorable tribute to these commendable actions that happen in conflict times. Whether you're someone who particularly supports, the acceptance of minorities in society, if you're someone who really supports, the efforts and the struggles that families went through when their fathers, their partners were out in conflict serving, And if you're someone who actually is in the military and appreciates the value of camaraderie, this film is for you in all of these cases and many more cases. It's a very strong story. It's a very involving story. The cinematography is natural. It is in some cases beautiful, but it is obviously natural, and it doesn't stand out too much, which is a really strong quality. The music and sound scape is really powerful and very immersive as well. Very well directed and incredibly well performed. Some of these young actors have risen to prominence over time, but there is no one that stands out. Their characters are what stand out, and that I find is always something that is quite hard to achieve and very commendable. So, Devotion, out November 23rd. Definitely a very well-made film.